Welcome back to Building a Farm, where I make the mistakes so you don't have to. And today I'm going to use my tooth bucket. I still have not made a decision on what to use to fix my gravel driveway. I've looked at box scrapers with rippers. I've looked at land planes. I've looked at land planes with rippers and got some opinions from you folks, but I still can't commit. So what I'm gonna try and do is what I read about somebody doing on small patches. I have a small patch here that's got a lot of grass. I'd like to clean it up, but it's not too big, is a way to do it with your tooth bucket. So let's see if we can clean up some of this 57 gravel, crusher run, pure clay and mix of rocks and a lot of weeds. And we'll just see if this technique will at least work for maybe a 50 or 60 foot section. So this is the before, and as you can see, we got a combination of 2-inch stone. This is 57 and crusher run. A little bit of that is 57. And you know, there's grass growing up through parts of it, strong weeds. This pink post is just warning me that there's a gully back here, and you just cannot tell where it is. And so let's see how this method works. This is the before. Let's see what it looks like after. And maybe I'll do a little bit of that up the middle of the road too. So this is the before. Let's see how it works for the after. So I'm not using the tilt attachment to twist it, because when the bucket is totally vertical, all it's doing is turning it left or right, which might allow us to crown, you know, some gravel in one direction or another. Or maybe if you didn't have a toothed bucket, it might work as a scraper. But what I'm doing is I'll just set the teeth down, and then if you press forward on the stick, you can go into float mode by pulling the trigger back here. So I'll push it forward a little bit, press the trigger, and you'll see the float indicator comes on. So now I can pull back with my left stick and just drag the teeth. You can see it just starts to work the gravel. One thing I can tell from this is that you definitely don't want to drag in the exact same spot. The teeth, you know, will just dig the rows here deeper and deeper. So you might want to go at diagonals and certainly offset your drag by a little bit. So you can see I kind of have a mix here. So I'll put the teeth down. For some reason, the bucket isn't staying vertical. It seems like the hydraulics get pressed as I am pulling backwards. So I'll put them all the way down. I push the stick forward, pull the trigger underneath, goes into float mode, and now I'll just drag back slowly, and you'll see the teeth start to sink in a little bit. The bucket twists out just a little bit, but I think in float, you know, I'm safe from bending the arm. But I am a little worried about my favorite TH35 attachment. I do think that it would be a better idea to not use your TH35 because it's putting an awful lot of flex on the bucket. think so far? I think where the gravel was thick enough, it did an okay job. It doesn't pull up as much grass as I'd like. It's a little bit better. Certainly took up the weeds in here a little bit better. This gravel was thicker, so it works better in thicker gravel. Here by the clay, it tore out some of the weeds. Some rock came to the surface, but in general, not that much. I think over here where the 2-inch rock is, it worked reasonably well. So I think if you had a small area that you needed to clean up, less than 100 feet certainly, this will probably work if you can go in different directions. I'm still going to be looking at the box scraper and rippers, and the main reason is on most of my trails, it's literally 6 feet wide. So I can't go left and right. I can't do a crosshatch. I can only go backwards and forwards. And clearly using this bucket method does not work very well if all you could do is go backwards and forwards. You really need to be able to do some diagonals and crosshatches to really rip things up. This area where it was more clay and some rock, obviously I pulled some rock with me, but this looks significantly better. We'll have to see after it rains. I'll level it out a little bit more by back dragging, but it's looking better. I can now see where my gully is off this end. So I think if I drag, I'm going to take the warning stake out for where the gully is, but I think this makes it more obvious where the gully is. I think if I drag along here, now that I can see where I am, this part that's more dirt and way less rock, these weeds will come out with it, and I'll probably just have to rake the weeds. So overall, I think this method could work. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching as always.